Banking space entirely is in focus. So you have two pieces of news flow. First, you have IndusInd numbers today as well as Yes Bank. Both of them are sector leading companies, and that will be important for the entire sector. So both these companies, of course, right now volumes are very limited, movement is very limited, but I can assure you that when the results come, there will be a lot of volume pick up into these names. So that will be in focus. Plus, you have the entire PSU banking space, which is in focus. So overnight, you had a circular from RBI, which says that banks should provide more for standard assets, and say if the standard assets are showing signs of some sort of deterioration in their profitability ratios like debt equity, debt servicing ratios, if they are going down, then the banks should start providing for them now. So these are the two developments which are keeping the banking space in focus. Let's welcome in Siddharth Purohit, Senior Equity Research Analyst Banking at Angel Broking. He is now joining us live. Sir, thank you so much for taking out time for us. Siddharth, if you could just tell us about the RBI circular first. It could wipe off a lot of earnings from large corporate banks in FY18. Say if the standard asset provisioning has to be very high from some of the specified banks.
Yeah, hi Pankaj. In fact, in RBI's circular, if you see, they have clearly said that the provisioning requirement has to, provisioning has to go up on standard asset to, particularly to the telecom sector, but they have not said the quantum of provisions that is to be done, because as of now the standard asset needs to be provided at 0.4%, but in its new directive, RBI has not given the quantum of provision that is to be done, but it has clearly said that the provision has to be much higher than the standard asset provision. Now, and if you look at the commentary, what they have clearly said that the interest coverage ratio of the sector is tremendously under pressure. So what I sense is that initially we saw that in a couple of years back, the metals and mining and commodity sector initially saw some amount of stress, and then there was a phase then those lot of companies started defaulting. So taking a preemptive action, I think that RBI has taken an action that banks should take higher provision much before trouble arises. So while it will be kind of negative for banks, it may not be really wipe out big amount of profit for them, because we don't know exactly the quantum of provision that needs to be provided, but certainly a kind of hit will be seen on the corporate lenders. But banks which are more of retail focus, they are not going to really have much of impact on that. So what is important here is that RBI has taken a stand that now certain sectors which are really seeing stress, banks will have to be very vocal and maybe actively look at those accounts and start providing more than the general just considering this as standard till the time it starts creating trouble. So you have to take steps much in advance of the trouble. So that is what the message from RBI is clearly.
But you think that FY18, of course, these banks may have to take a little bit of extra provisioning, whatever that may be, close to 3%, 4%, 5%, which are the initial estimates. But after that, it will get a clarity as to what's happening. So that will be a long-term positive. Over the next 3 years, there will be clarity as to what's happening with different sectors within the book.
Yeah, in fact, FY18 definitely, not only for telecom companies, there are a lot of other sectors where banks will be now taking extra provisions. That's what I sense, because now the last 2-3 years we had seen a lot of trouble only in the commodity sector, but right now even there are other sectors which are facing trouble. So, and those banks which are having lower provisioning coverage ratio, they will definitely have to take a kind of incremental provisions. So earnings could take a beating because of that. But the good part is that for the retail lenders, particularly the banks which are having a balanced portfolio, the one like SDFC or maybe to some extent also ICICI also, who have a balanced portfolio right now, their one part of book is growing. So even if they take a higher provisions on the corporate side, then possibly earnings growth will start seeing some amount of improvement than what we saw in the last 12 months time. Because last 12 months time we have seen a lot of large accounts getting recognized in NPA and provisions has been taken on it. So while there will be incremental provisions required in FY18 because of this directive, but earnings could improve for the large set of banks in FY18, and it will not really materially impact the profitability to my sense.
So it's a small AQR exercise, not the AQR exercise which impacted the numbers last year same time.
Yeah, the last year's AQR was virtually spread across all sectors, irrespective of sectors. All the accounts which were likely to slip into account and still recognized as standard asset in the bank's book were recognized as NPA. So now taking some advanced step, now RBI is saying that is getting into sector specific thing and directing that these are the sectors where trouble might arise and you have to take preemptive action. So it's a definitely good measure in the long run, because banks will be forced to take incremental provision much ahead of the actual trouble that arises. And if there is no trouble further ahead and there is improvement in the underlying asset, then obviously the provision can be reversed at a later stage. So while it's a kind of simple call that you have to be more careful not only on provisioning but also on giving advances to certain stress sectors. So it's directionally, I would say, positive for corporate lenders, even though it might take a earnings hit in the near term.
Right. What is your view on the Q4 earnings? So we kick off with Yes Bank, IndusInd Bank today. What is your call? Will these banks continue to grow the way they are? Sector leading growth, more than double of what the loan book is, data that RBI gives in terms of growth?
See, if you look at the entire sector, then the picture for banking industry doesn't look very good. If you look at the credit demand, it has fallen below 5%. But there are certain set of banks which have been really growing much higher than the industry growth rate. Yes Bank, almost 30% growth that they have been reporting. And this quarter again, I'm expecting that they will deliver a pretty good set of numbers. Almost 30% kind of loan growth is possible. Same is the case for other certain private sector banks like SDFC, as I said. Obviously, the growth in SDFC will moderate, as we saw, it will be much lower than historical growth rate. Maybe 15-18% kind of growth is what one should look at from here onwards, and particularly for Q4 also. There will be some amount of or some impact of demonetization that could be visible to the retail lenders also, but it will not be materially negative. The private lenders and the new generation private lenders like Yes Bank could do substantially better growth. Maybe 30% kind of a growth rate is what you might see this quarter and on a sustained basis. And one good thing about Yes Bank is that they had certain capital constraint couple of quarters back, but now that capital constraint is not there, they have been able to raise almost 4,900 crores of equity, and that takes care of all the growth capital required for next 2-3 years. So next 2-3 years there is definitely a kind of strong balance sheet growth that one can expect from this set of banks, Yes Bank and SDFC Bank.
Right. I know you don't cover IndusInd Bank, but it's important if you look at the sector that what is the growth which is expected or what is the growth which they are likely to do. Do you think IndusInd and Yes Bank will continue to command premium valuation with the numbers that they have been declaring?
Yes, that's what I feel, that they have been trading at a premium valuations if you observe for last many years, and that is likely to continue. If you look at Yes Bank, even at the current price, it's trading around 2.8 times FY19 earnings, but the premium would sustain. The reason being there is high growth, as I said, and there is high return on equity. Return on equity almost close to 20%, which is something definitely much higher than the other private players also. So the premium valuation will sustain, but the margin, what I would say that year onwards after the recent rally in Yes Bank, particularly, I would say that possibly one has to look for a steady set of returns on the stock instead of expecting very aggressive return. So it is a kind of compounding story. One can keep on getting 15-20% kind of return on an annualized basis from these kind of stocks. And as far as IndusInd Bank, I don't cover it, but it has been another really strong growth story. They have been delivering very strong numbers for last many years, and they will continue to do so. So because these all banks don't have much of legacy issue like the ones of ICICI or Axis Bank, which had been lending largely to the corporates and which came into trouble, and that was one of the that put a break on their growth prospect. So the new generation banks like IndusInd and Yes will continue to grow, and they will continue to attract premium valuations going ahead also.
Right. For these banks, whenever the management is speaking, whether it's HDFC, Yes Bank, or IndusInd Bank, you think the market focuses on how they will maintain this growth rather than asset quality? It's a given that their asset quality will be quite good.
Yeah, because that has been a trend, Pankaj. If you see, let's talk about HDFC Bank. For many years, they have been able to maintain their GNP at 1%, irrespective of growth and irrespective of the economic condition. Even in the worst case scenario, it has gone up to say 1.05, 1.1%, and it has again come back to less than 1%. So on a steady state basis, they have been able to maintain 1% GNP, which is commendable job. And if you are getting a bank with high double digit ROE, 20% growth, and GNP of 1%, and ability to raise capital, and also ability to raise internal capital generation on a continuous basis. So these kind of banks will always command a premium, and what market wants to know is that valuation is one part, but how the growth momentum will be maintained or not. And these banks have already proved that their business model is matured enough to sustain this kind of growth, so 20% kind of growth for multiple years coming ahead. So premium valuations will be there, and if they are able to deliver sustained growth, then that is the only things to be watched, because asset quality has been taken care of by this management for many years. We have not seen material deterioration despite economic going through very slow down phase in last couple of years. So that is the strong point of this private banks.
And also say if IndusInd has had some asset quality issues, very marginal ones. Yes Bank has had very, very marginal asset quality issues. They also take that hit quite easily. So they immediately take a hit if there is a provision which needs to be made.
See, in terms of absolute provisions, I'll not look at Pankaj. If I look at the credit cost, then it is really much lower than the industry standard. Let's say for Yes Bank, say credit cost of less than 60 basis point is something really not alarming. So in absolute terms, some quarter it might see little higher, but credit cost, as far as if it remains below 60 basis point, 70 basis point, it's really not a point of worry at all. So even if there is some marginal rise in GNPA, it is really not alarming enough for a cause of concern as of now.
Right. What will be your call on PSU banks? Now, last year you had the base effect with the AQR exercise that we just spoke about, because of which numbers were looking quite dreadful. But if you look at the numbers this time, how would you look? Is there a recovery which is expected?
Not much, Pankaj, because if you look at the industry data, a lot of PSU banks are corporate lending oriented banks, and they don't have much of retail presence except for SBI. So within PSU, I'm not looking other than SBI for other banks to really grow. SBI is one bank which can raise capital of its own and push forward for growth. But beyond SBI, all these mid-sized banks are really not having enough strong balance sheet to look for a growth. And secondly, their asset quality has started kind of, the problem of asset quality is not entirely over. The main issue is that last 2-3 quarters we saw, 2 quarters particularly, that absolute amount of GNPA was not really very big, incremental GNPA, that's slippages, but it is not that they are completely out of woods. So well, on one hand that your loan growth is not happening, secondly you don't have much of capital to grow even if there is a demand for it, and on top of that you are dealing with stress asset. So at least for next 1 year, until and unless there is a massive amount of recovery and upgradation that happens, and some amount of capital raising or maybe a capital infusion happens from government, more than what they have been doing right now, till that time the outlook for PSU banks really doesn't change drastically. Of course it has improved a bit compared to last year, but it is not enough for a case for re-rating as of now. So PSU banks will still stay out of it right now. In fact, I have been maintaining that negative stand on PSU banks for now. And within PSU, we only continue to have a positive view on SBI, which stands better than rest of the pack. So PSU is a still kind of a word for us.
Siddharth, thank you so much for taking out time for us. Hope to speak to you once again once Yes Bank and IndusInd Bank declare their numbers. Meanwhile, markets are up about 7 odd points. We're taking a break. We're coming back in 2 minutes.